If you're looking to have a residence permit in the Middle East, but have been drifting away from the United Arab Emirates given their increasingly stringent regulations, then you might want to take a look into Saudi Arabia. And in today's video, we are going to talk about why this Saudi Arabia residence permit might be the options that you've been looking for. My name is Natalia Rincon, and I am a Research and Development Associate at Nomad Capitalist. If you're looking for a residence permit in the Middle East, you may have heard about the United Arab Emirates. Historically, the UAE has been the most popular and attractive option for obtaining a residence permit. However, you might want to take a look into Saudi Arabia as well, especially if what you're looking for is a permanent residence that you can obtain with a much lower investment, no physical presence requirement, and that will give you a much lower cost of living. So the main option that I want to focus on in today's video is the Saudi Arabia Premium Residence Program. Now, there are two different kinds of premium residence in Saudi Arabia. The first one is the specific premium residence permit. This permit is issued for 1 up to 5 years, but you need to make an annual investment of 100,000 Saudi Arabian riyals. At the time of filming this video, this amounts for approximately 27,000 US dollars. Now keep in mind that this is a deposit that you need to make annually. But after year 2, you can qualify for a 2% discount provided that you make the deposit in advance. Now, the second option, which is the most attractive one, is the lifelong permanent residence permit. Now, in order to obtain this permit, you would need to make only a one-time payment of 800,000 Saudi Arabian riyals. This amounts for approximately 213,000 US dollars. Now, as I mentioned, this is a one-time deposit that does not require you to make any other sort of deposit in the future, and it will give you a lifelong residence. Now, say you have met the financial requirements. What are some of the key benefits that you can get from obtaining this residence permit in Saudi Arabia? Well, for instance, there is no physical presence requirement in order to keep any of these two residences active. There is no need to visit the country every 6 months, for example, as it happens with the UAE, in order to maintain it. Furthermore, this residence permit gives you the freedom to enter or exit Saudi Arabia without the need to obtain any additional visa. Now, if you add dependents, it is very interesting because in the event that you pass away, your family members and dependents can maintain the residence permit that they obtained for only one time. So, if you got an indefinite premium residence, they can keep it indefinitely as well. Whereas if you acquired this specific premium residence, they can only obtain it for one time after you pass away. Also, this residence permit facilitates that you as a foreigner can own a local company completely independently without the need for a local sponsor, provided that you have the corresponding license to do so. And this doesn't happen every time. Now, if you wish to extend the benefits of this residence permit to your non-immediate family members, they can also qualify to work, study, and reside in Saudi Arabia, provided that they get a family visa. And obtaining a family visa through you is much easier than if they were doing the process independently. Now, it is also possible to add a spouse at a later time. So say, for example, that when you obtain the residence permit, you are not married or you have been married for a period of less than 3 years. In that case, you can add your spouse at a later time under the same program terms and without having to make any additional sort of investment. Some other perks that you can obtain is, for example, you get the ability to invest in the Saudi Arabian stock market, and you're able to own and use both residential and commercial properties within the country. There are some downsides though, or some perks that you will not get from this residence permit. One of them is that this residence permit will not qualify you for citizenship in Saudi Arabia, which is very hard to obtain anyway. And also, unfortunately, you will not get any freedom of travel within Gulf countries from this residence permit. So you would need to apply to the additional visa for the country that you want to go to. Who are the dependents that you can include in your application? Well, first off, you have your spouse, provided that it is a heterosexual marriage. You have your children, provided that they are below 25 years old. If they're above 25, you can include unmarried daughters. You can also add your parents, provided that they are dependent on you, and children who have special needs regardless of age. Lastly, one thing that I do want to mention is that there are some other ways that you can qualify for a premium residence program. The reason why I mentioned the direct deposit as the most attractive option is because you don't need to fulfill any other sort of requirement other than making the investment. This isn't the case with the other options, But maybe if you're interested in owning real estate or forming a business in Saudi Arabia, they could be attractive to you. There are some things to keep in mind though. Usually and for the most part, the investment amounts are higher. And for example, for the entrepreneur or business investor routes, you usually have to generate local employment. If you're interested in purchasing real estate in Saudi Arabia in order to obtain a residence permit, you can definitely do so. You must purchase a residential real estate property that is already developed, appraised, and valued at least 4 million Saudi Arabian riyals. At the time of filming this video, this appraises for around 1.1 million US dollars. Now, some other things to keep in mind if you're going through the real estate route is that you cannot use any sort of financing in order to purchase the property. And once you purchase the property, even if you've already obtained the residence permit, you cannot, for example, take a mortgage on it. One of the benefits of a residence permit through real estate is not only that you can actually get some sort of return of your investment instead of just making a deposit, but also if you want to switch the property, you're perfectly free to do so, and you would have 90 days to exchange your original property for the new one that will still qualify you for the residence permit. So this gives you a lot of flexibility when it comes to your investments. If you're a business investor, you can obtain a resident permit for 5 years, or depending on the amount that you invest, you can prolong this duration. But the minimum investment is 1.8 million US dollars or 7 million Saudi Arabian riyals. Keep in mind, though, that you would need to generate at least 10 jobs in the first 2 years of residence in order to maintain it. So last but not least, we have the business investor and entrepreneur route. Now, this can be a little bit tricky, and the investment amounts usually go much higher, and you would have to create local employment as well. So this is an option that we rarely recommend. It is much better to go through the premium residence option or the real estate. So if you're a conservative investor and family values are important to you, and you want to establish a friendly tax residence in a Middle East country at a fraction of the price that Dubai or Abu Dhabi would impose on you, then definitely Saudi Arabia is an option to consider. So go to nomadcapitalist.com/apply and sign up to become our Nomad Capitalist client today. Follow us on Instagram, follow our social media, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'll see you on the next video.